In the shadows of New York's skyline, one woman inherited a simple apartment and uncovered a secret no one dared speak. When the walls began whispering and the board began watching, she made a choice that would shake the city's silence. This isn't just a story about HOA corruption. It's a true-style urban mystery, buried beneath concrete and lies. What she found behind that wall changed everything. When I moved into Unit 3C at the Hamilton Towers in Queens, New York, I wasn't expecting a quiet life. The building, a gray-bricked remnant of the 1950s, stood like a stubborn monument among sleek glass apartments. My name's Aaron Marshall. I'm 33, a graphic designer, and I got this place for a deal so good, it felt illegal. It had belonged to a man named Walter Breyer, an old widower who, according to the super, just passed in his sleep. No family claimed the place, and the board had full rights to resell it. The first week was uneventful, though I did notice something strange. At night, I'd hear soft thuds on the wall, always at the same time, 3:14 a.m., not loud enough to scare me, just odd, maybe plumbing, old pipes groaning. It was my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Caputo, who first broke the silence. "Are you in Walter's unit now?" she asked one afternoon in the hallway, clutching a netted bag of oranges like it weighed 10 pounds. "Yes, it's beautiful," I replied. Her smile twitched. "He kept journals, you know, wrote everything, maybe too much." "What do you mean?" She glanced down the hallway toward the stairs, then leaned in. "They didn't like what he saw." The friendly warning. The HOA board at Hamilton Towers was unusually involved. Their emails were frequent, demanding, and oddly specific. No shoes in hallways. No curtains facing the courtyard, unless white. No packages outside your door for more than 15 minutes. The president of the board, Charles Dunning, was a retired banker who wore pressed suits even to the recycling bins. His vice president, Marla Fitch, ran a real estate firm. The others, well, they rarely spoke. At the monthly board meeting, I sat quietly in the back as Charles outlined fines issued last month. One for leaving windows open past 9 p.m. That's a security violation. And we've documented a case of candle use. Fire hazard. Then, he looked directly at me. "Unit 3C, please ensure your music levels comply with the 8 p.m. cutoff." I hadn't played any music, not even That night, I knocked on Mrs. Caputo's door. "What did you mean about Walter?" She invited me in. Her apartment smelled of lavender and cloves. "He heard something, saw something. He wrote it down," she said, pulling a yellowed notebook from under a floorboard. It was Walter's. The journal. Walter's handwriting was cramped, like he was always in a hurry. The journal dated back 5 years, filled with tiny, detailed notes. July 12, 2020. Someone on the board approved an illegal sublet. Unit 7D. He never signs in, but his window's always lit at night. September 4th, 2020. Why do the cameras not work on the 4th floor? The others do. I asked Charles. He changed the subject. Dec. 19. 2020. Heard screaming from 5B. Nobody else mentions it. Building silent. Are we all pretending? Some entries included sketches, floor layouts, camera positions, faces circled in red ink. I flipped forward. April 3rd, 2021. I think they're watching me now. I asked too many questions about the reserve funds. Why is 1.3 million missing? The final entry, barely legible. April 17th, 2021. I heard something behind the utility wall, like movement. Breathing, then the knock again. 3:14. I think they'll stop me soon. The noise returns. I stayed up that night, waiting for 3:14 a.m., and like clockwork, thud, thud. 2 knocks on the shared wall between my living room and the building's central maintenance shaft. The next day, I went to the basement. The hallway to the shaft was locked, padlocked, and had a sign. Board access only, violators will be fined. Later, I emailed the board. Hi, I'm concerned about some strange sounds behind the wall in Unit 3C, possibly animals or pipes. Can someone check the shaft? I got a reply from Charles within 2 hours. There is no structural issue. The building is secure. Please avoid unauthorized access. Thank you. Mrs. Caputo warned me. They're testing you. Walter was persistent. Too persistent. Behind the wall. The journal mentioned a hidden latch behind the coat closet. I emptied the closet. Sure enough, near the bottom, behind warped paneling, was a faint outline, a loose wood panel. I pried it open. Inside was a narrow concrete maintenance tunnel. Cables ran along the walls, with barely enough space to crawl. I used my phone's flashlight and followed the tunnel for about 20 feet. Then a sudden dip, a recess in the wall. And there it was, a dusty, taped-up camcorder, a Canon Mini DV. Ancient. I grabbed it and backed out. The next day I bought a used tape player and loaded it in. What Walter saw. The footage was grainy, time-stamped, April 9th, 2021 to 3:13 a.m. The camera was facing the hallway outside 5B. A man in a security uniform walked past, then stopped. He pulled a ring of keys from his pocket, opened the door without knocking, and stepped inside. Minutes passed, then screaming, muffled, violent, brief. The man re-emerged, dragging a large black contractor bag. The video cut off. I froze. This wasn't a ghost story. It was real. Walter saw it, and he died 10 days later. The HOA's trap. I printed stills from the footage and slid one under Charles Dunning's door. No note, just the image of the security guard with the bag. That night, I got a notice on my door. Immediate violation. Unauthorized access of private property. Third strike. You are hereby summoned to an emergency board meeting. I didn't go. Instead, I called my friend Sam, an attorney. I think this HOA is covering up a death, I told him. You need to go public. Before they shut you up, going public. I leaked the video anonymously to a neighborhood news blog. Within 12 hours, it was trending on Reddit. Queens resident exposes HOA cover-up. Whistleblower claims murder hidden behind walls. Reporters showed up. Police reopened Walter's death file. Charles issued a building-wide email. These allegations are false, inflammatory, and defamatory. Legal action is underway, but the damage was done. Detectives entered the building the next week. They sealed off 5B, the man in the footage. He was a contract worker, not licensed. He was arrested for obstruction. Marla Fitch resigned from the board quietly. The rest tried to cling to power, collapse and clean up. Residents started speaking up. One tenant revealed she had been fined $8,000 over maintenance complaints. After asking about the board's financials, a group of us, including Mrs. Caputo, formed a tenant alliance. We voted for new board elections. Charles refused, so we sued. 3 months later, the court ordered a full audit of Hamilton Towers. $1.6 million was unaccounted for. Several fake invoices were traced to Marla's company. Charles Dunning was arrested for embezzlement and obstruction of justice. Walter's journal became public evidence. The journal lives on. A year
I'm
later,
full, please remove
the building
charging.
is quiet. The board is new, transparent, fair. I still have Walter's journal. I keep it in my bookshelf, wrapped in the same elastic band he used. And at 3:14 a.m., every so often, I wake up, not to knocks, but to silence. Peace. Walter's story is over, but mine isn't. Now, I tell other stories, because in a city like New York, behind every wall, there's always another secret waiting to be heard. The truth might have been buried in silence, but one voice, one journal, brought it to light. Walter Breyer wasn't just a forgotten tenant. He was a witness. And because Aaron listened, the city woke up. The walls no longer whisper. Now, they remember.